Could there be a more witless way for a massive global underworld operation to be busted wide open? Well, sure, there's always room for more stupidity, but this one must be in the running. A dispute between a Colombian man and a couple of women he hired for the evening inside his hotel room in West Africa prompted a noise complaint. And when police came to settle them down, an officer spotted a stack of neatly wrapped bricks. That started the dominoes falling, and what was exposed from that tawdry squabble is quite remarkable. The mob reporter here with news of the downfall of a major hub of superhaulers who were moving major weight by air, sea and land on what's called the African route, a major access of the crucial South America to Europe underworld trade route. And it was run by a former European cop, or so they say, a man named as one of the most important traffickers on the African continent. Let me tell you about it. Inside the hotel room in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire's main city on Africa's west coast, police found a Colombian man and 168 kilos of coke. He was arrested and turned out to be a cook for a wider organization. How fitting, a cook getting everyone in hot water. When the man was arrested, a suspected boss of the organization seemed to fear the cook might spill the beans, and quickly gathered up his 73-year-old mother, his wife, and his son and fled, along with one of his men, a Spanish sailor. They were arrested before they could reach the border. He has been identified as Miguel Angel de Vesamara, a Spaniard from Vigo in Galicia. That's a coastal region of Spain's northwest, an area notorious for smuggling. We see him here, along with alleged accomplices, including his wife. He's 51 years old. De Vesa stands out for being a former cop, an officer with the Policia Nacional, one of two federal police agencies responsible for much of Spain's anti-narcotics enforcement. It didn't actually shock anyone in the know. De Vesa has been a suspected top-tier target for more than a decade. His past, or more properly his alleged past, sounds like a movie plot, an international action thriller of a renegade cop being bounced from the force and moving to Africa, where he uses his skills for a new career as a narco boss. Some of the tales are wild. Weapons, explosives, helicopters, false identities, fake documents, even a chainsaw murder. Everything Hollywood ordered. He was expelled from the National Police in 2003 after he was charged with breach of trust. When he was released from prison, he settled in Mali, a landlocked country in West Africa. It wasn't a relaxing retirement. In 2009, a burnt-out Boeing 727 jetliner was discovered in the Saharan desert in Mali. At first feared to be a devastating plane crash, the mystery was eventually settled, more or less. Sparking international headlines, illustrated by these amazing and haunting photographs, it was revealed as a ghost plane, a jet deviated from the official aviation market, obscured through sales and false paperwork. It turns out the jet hadn't crashed at all. It landed safely, and secretly, on a clandestine airstrip built on a dry lake bed. It was met by a convoy of jeeps and trucks, and the plane's cargo from Venezuela was unloaded and transferred. It's thought to be 10 tons of coke. And then the old jet was torched to destroy any evidence. Authorities are convinced De Vesa was involved. A year later, he was also suspected in the messy demise of a Colombian man with a chainsaw. But any charges and probes against him in Mali soon disappeared amid swirling rumors and whispers. There's a great story that he once left 20,000 euros on a table and started walking away from police, leaving officers to make a snap decision of which they wanted more, him or the pile of money. Police say De Vesa was once a partner of the notorious and charismatic Spanish smuggler known as Cito Minanco. Cito became infamous in Spain as a gangland pioneer, among the first of the Spanish sailors in Galicia to forge contacts with South American suppliers and to switch products from their traditional tobacco smuggling along Spain's coast. Cito bought the local soccer team, and his generous investments brought it to unprecedented success. and then he made headlines for a series of exploits, arrests, and plots. Cito and his men apparently had a nickname for Devesa. It signaled a controlling presence in his new homeland. They called him Africa. So it's clear Spanish and African police had an eye on him for years, and were getting closer and closer. A lucky break gave investigators even more traction. A high-powered motorboat was in distress in the Atlantic Ocean last December. It was about 300 nautical miles off the coast of Ghana. It was slowly sinking with 2 Spaniards aboard. But when a ship from Ghana came to their rescue, the men refused assistance and declined to abandon their boat. They were eventually forced to abandon ship and accompany the rescue patrol. The men claimed to have just been out fishing, but their reluctance for assistance made them very suspicious. One of them is alleged to have been Devesa's main partner. Meanwhile, after the titillated cook slipped up and Devesa ran, police in Côte d'Ivoire searched several properties and found almost 2 tons of coke in storage at a corporate building in the port town of San Pedro, near the border with Liberia. Ivorian authorities have already burned the 2 tons they've seized. You see that here. The network seems a serious one, hardcore and meaty. It's estimated that between 50 and 60 tons each year pass through the African route, and this network is alleged to have had a hand in a lot of it. 10 people were arrested in Côte d'Ivoire and paraded by police. A few were Spanish, 2 were Colombian, 1 a Portuguese, and at least 2 were Ivorian. His main partner, however, according to authorities, escaped the dragnet. He was one of the men in the sinking boat, and is known to be from Spain's region near its border with France. And so the hunt continues. Please check out my perks and bonus content available through Patreon at patreon.com/themobreporter. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.